happened, right? This is a body of knowledge that you will need and you need to pay attention to. I kid you not, right? Don't think that when I say the good side of Ponzi, don't think that I'm trying to use reverse psychology on you. I'm actually not. We're actually here to talk about the good side of Ponzi. I know Ponzi is, it's called scam, it's called fraud, it's called all those things. But do you know that it's a pointer to something very fundamental that many of us overlook? It's a point. I recently, one of the most interesting program or course I've had to enroll for is a course I did on behavioral finance. And it's so crucial that it's a level 1 course. I've done level 1 to level 5 courses. And behavioral finance happens to be a level 1 course, but I found myself stuck in it for days. Normally, I finish level 1 courses within hours if I'm really focused. But I find myself going over a particular module over and over and over again because of just one line. There are two sides to when you're talking about this perspective on finance. There's the classical perspective on finance, and then there's the contemporary perspective on finance. The classical ones believes, which is what many people still think, that individuals are logical and they can control the limits of their emotions or the limit of their excesses. But researches and statistics have proven over time that actually we are not in charge. We actually cannot put limits to our emotions. We can't put limits to our logic. So you can think that, don't people know better? Why do they still fall victim of Ponzi? Don't people know better? Why do they still do this thing? It doesn't make any sense, right? But let me tell you, let me just tell you this, that do you know that even as someone, when I started to pivot into finance, I fell victim of Ponzi 3 times. So the question is, how come you didn't learn the first time? The question is, how come you didn't learn the second time? How come you had to take me 3 tries for me to really learn? In fact, it was so bad that, God forgive you wherever you are, Mr. Jack the Forex trader. He called me he reached out to me from Instagram, and then he had a lot to say. And it was so time. In fact, I thought it was spiritual because he reached out to me a day before I got my first salary ever. And this is why it looks as if this topic is so, dear to my heart. Because just imagine, at a very crucial point in my life, I was just about to earn my first paycheck ever. And the first thing that my first paycheck ever went into was a Ponzi. Guess what? It didn't end there. The man said he was going to give me 100% return on investment in 48 hours. In 48 hours, I reached out to him. He said the reason why he could not give it to me was because the minimum withdrawal was higher than what my profit is. I was supposed to, my salary was 18,000 naira. I was supposed to get 36,000 naira. So he now said that the minimum withdrawal is, I think, 50,000 naira. But the minimum investment is 18,000 naira. What's that telling you? That means I need to reinvest another 18,000 naira to be able to get back that's 72,000 naira. So what did I do? One of my friends, we were working together. We got our salaries the same day. And I went to him and said, borrow me your salary. So that means I was not just investing my own first salary ever. I was investing my friend's first salary ever. When the thing now failed and, it was clear that this was Ponzi, I had to lose my first salary, and then I had to use my second salary to pay my friend's first salary. So the question is, after that incident, how come I did not learn? How come I did not learn? Because as much as it's sound and it's sweet to say that, yes, you are disciplined, we know what we are doing, the truth is, behaviorally, we do not. It's the reason why in economics, they say that human behavior, what's it called? There's a term they use for human behavior that is unpredictable. That's why most time when you're studying human behavior, they'll tell you can't be scientific. Because today I like rice, tomorrow spaghetti is my favorite food. So what exactly is the good side of Ponzi is what we're going to explore today. And how can this particular thing, as bad as it is, as, what's it called? What other word can I use apart from bad? As terrible as it is, what good can it actually do for us as a society? If you are seeing my face for the first time, my name is Adesina. I'm the founder and chief investment officer of Adesina Assets. And today, this is one of those additional live sessions that you really don't want to miss. And I want you to do me a favor. Invite as many people as possible. Share the link. I believe we are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. I believe so. And then we should be live on Instagram also. So they can watch from any platform that is easier for them to join, whether they are joining on Facebook, they are joining on TikTok, they are joining on Facebook, or they are joining on YouTube. We are live across all those platforms. Now, I'm going to start with from a very interesting perspective, right? And that's to, I've seen a lot of people saying, I cannot sympathize with you if you fall into Ponzi. I cannot pity you. You don't deserve to be pitied. You are trying to find the easy way out. Is your greed? Is your this? Is your that? Well, plot twist. The one person that you would think should not sympathize with you is going to sympathize with you, and that's Adesina. I actually sympathize with you. If you know anybody who lost money to this particular thing, tell them that I actually sympathize with them. Because the truth is, those who might not fall victim of the popular Ponzi that you probably know are falling victim of a lot of other Ponzi schemes that might not reveal themselves publicly to be Ponzi. So as much as it sounds like, oh, me, I'm smart, I didn't do this thing that every other person is doing. But if you check it well, are there no other things that you're actually doing that might not be popularly Ponzi, but they actually are when you check what they are rooted into? For example, and please, you are free to disagree, bot trading. You can't call it technology and call it anything and things like that. And, just follow me closely, right? Follow me closely. I would say I'll touch on several things, right? And then we'll tie the knots together. I've seen several people, I've sold. So don't think that I'm trying to actually talk about something third party, right? I've sold quite a number of things, right? Quite a number of investments inclusive. In fact, one of those ones, I would not be going into details, was where I actually got to tell myself and define a fact that once any capital cannot be linked directly to a particular asset or a particular business, regardless of whether you got your money out of it, it's a Ponzi. Because I've worked, or I've actually been a part of certain things that it did not crash. But that did not stop that thing from being a Ponzi. I have personally also organized something that I was able to pay back everybody. At the end of the day, I was able to pay back everybody. But the truth is, at the bedrock of that thing was a viable business entity there. And this is why you get that, what's it called? There's business gone bad, then there's Ponzi. There's business gone bad, and then there's scam, there's fraud. Right? What's business gone bad? You give me money to do a business, and then maybe I said my profit margin is going to be 30%. And then at the end of the day, maybe the thing spoiled, the product, maybe you gave me money to cook food. And then I was supposed to sell the food and make profit. Then maybe in the course of transporting the food that I was supposed to sell, it was put in a place that was too tight, and then it got spoiled and I couldn't sell. That's business gone bad. I was not trying to scam you. Business just went bad. Right? And then there's the other part where I just said, give me money. I will do business with it and find a way to pay you your money. So even if I actually spent the money, on my babe, and then I had to borrow or maybe also in another way to pay you back, that's not business gone bad. Because the capital was not utilized for the business, for any business in particular. Right? And that's why one of the things that I want you to know is that many of those who fall victim of these Ponzis actually do so innocently. I know there's the popular thing that you can be innocently wrong, but in all honesty, you can't blame them. Many actually believed that this thing was legit. I saw a guy who had to go to their office, and it was like they had a great office. I was still telling someone yesterday, this is a funny thing. Someone said they wanted to invest with us, and the person checked CAC, we were registered. So our school certificate, we were there. We were visible online. Founder of the company, visible online, And then the person said there's only one more thing that would make me convinced that you're actually legit and whatever. In fact, the person saw our property, saw our banner, saw the agreement and things like that, So he saw that we had the property we're talking about. And he said, I would like to come to your office. And I just started laughing. When did having an office become a criteria to verify um, legality of an entity? When? But you can see that a lot of people have um, ideologies or have what's it called? What's this thing called? Perspective that are not accurate, but they believe it innocently. It's not true. In fact, one of the shocking things you realize is that people are more particular, or people are more careful with their money than with their health. People are more careful with their money than with their health. If you go to the hospital, how many people will walk into a quack doctor's place and they will get treated, In fact, in Nigeria, we have what we call chemists. Chemists are, there are people that have money to do business and went into the drug business. They sell drug, but they are not pharmacists. Right? In fact, you can learn chemistry like you're learning shoemaking. Right? They will teach you how to, this one is for headache. This other, that's you don't know what is contained in the drug, but they shall tell you anytime you see this one, right? And you can imagine, in fact, personally, for probably the most part of my childhood, it is when I fall sick, it was chemist. You go to chemist. Let me tell you a funny story. There's a time that we invited a particular nurse to come and treat me. I was not feeling too well. And the nurse brought out injection, took my blood, and did like this. The blood is black, it's typhoid. I'm not joking. Real life. Real life. It was when I grew older and I was like, hold on, this thing actually happened. Someone took my blood, looked at it, and with her eyes, I want to believe she has a microscopic eyes. And she was able to discern, I said discern, to actually know that this is typhoid. But guess what? Did she still treat me? Yes. She still treated me. So this is to just show us that there's a lot of things we do innocently because we do not know better. Because we do not know better. I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw, a couple of people crying. I was planning to expand my business with the capital, with the returns and things like that. They innocently put money there. Another thing that I like to say is that those of us who actually have sustainable business, legitimate business, real investment ventures, most times we communicate facially also, such that when these people that are selling the wrong things come, our communication looks the same. We also only emphasize return on investment. Same thing, they also only emphasize. An average investment management firm would only put out that there's a commercial paper outside, you can invest this capital, you get these returns. That's all. We don't know what the business does. We don't know what project they're putting the commercial paper into. We don't know anything. We just know that just invest your money with them, you get this return. Averagely. So when a Ponzi also comes and then bring out their own offer also, and since theirs is now promising more returns, it looks more profitable since our communication looks the same. So can you then blame these people? No. For example, an average person who is buying shares on an app does not have no idea about the business they are buying. Have no idea about the management of the business they are buying. They are buying because an average person, one stockbroker says that, do you know that with 5,000 naira you can begin to invest in shares? And they also say, where can I? They tell them this app. And they tell them, just click here, just click here, just click here. Not knowing that the stockbroker has collected referral commission. In fact, the app you are buying is also a broker. So when our communication looks like these people, you can't blame people for falling victim. And one thing I also say is that when it comes to the concept of poverty or being impoverished, I like to hold it in a very delicate way, because the truth is that the average Nigerian is looking for a way out. Actually, not average Nigerian, the average person anywhere in the world. Yes, there are some countries that have been able to kill this haste for wealth. And one of those countries, I think, and I stand to be corrected, is Asian countries. I stand to be corrected. But I strongly believe Asian countries, based on what I've seen, what I've read, and some, interactions I've had. But an average African, wealth and money has been so idolized that, in all honesty, the average person does not care how to make it. They just want to make it. So if we have so much communicated that if you don't have money, you don't have anything. If you don't have money, you don't deserve a place in society. In fact, parents now gauge their children's suitors based on what car you drive, how much money you make. Let me be vulnerable a bit with you guys. Let me be vulnerable with you guys. And I do hope that I was discussing with my partner recently. And I said, why is it that our parents, when they told us their stories, they told us their stories of their humble beginnings, and today they are comfortable, they are doing well. How come they are expecting us to have it all figured out? I had conversations with some people, family members, and the question they were asking is, it was not, do you have a job? Where do you stay? What kind of something? Someone even asked me, what's your annual revenue? Right? You go to a place, they're trying to, what's it called? How much do you make? Things to check your financial stand. Maybe I'm not doubting that they're doing it with good intention, but it looks as if the bulk of the attention in this matter is money. So you cannot blame a guy who is refusing to get married because he's not yet financially buoyant, or a guy who is good looking at every means. It's not that we're not trying to shout. It is not, don't hustle. Just find something to do. Don't hustle in a country where every day the person is being judged with how much money he has in his pocket. So we contribute larger to these things. So that would be hypocrisy. You can't be on both sides. You cannot be on both sides. Many of you as brothers, when you see your younger ones with, a guy that is not looking rich, you raise eyebrows. Many girls now, if you don't have an amount of money, if you cannot send me this, if you cannot do that, and this is not to preach complacency and not having zeal and not having drive to actually succeed. No. But can we introduce the concept of patience and the fact that wealth takes time? Go and check the likes of people that you are looking up to today. Go and check the generations that built the wealth. So most times, we are part of the problem. And why do I love the concept of Ponzi? Is the fact that it makes us know that failure is part of the journey. Many people would actually wake up because now they've lost money, they've burnt their hands. So when we take an holistic view of this thing, it's not an entirely bad thing. There's a good side to it. So now you've lost money. You've seen how you can lose money. You now understand the metrics to see in something that is not viable. The checklist to look out for if you actually want to invest sustainably. So you now know. Now, what's it called? They said, fool me once. Something fool me twice. Who knows how to say that? Anybody? Fool me once. I shall know there's something like that. That if you fool me once, I'm the fool. So you are the fool. If you fool me twice, I'm the fool. Something like that. But why am I saying this? I've told you my own story. I fell victim 3 times. And let me tell you one of the key factors of that thing. One of the key determinants of that thing. I wanted to make it. At age 14, I was already Google searching 14-year-olds that are doing crazy things in the world. And I was seeing 14-year-olds. I even watched the Shark Tank. A 14-year-old came and won a business grant of $100,000. And 14, this was 2013. I've given someone insight to check my age. But this was in 2013. So I'm like, do you know what $100,000 was in 2013? So I was feeling like a failure. Bro, I was not even in university yet. I was still struggling with WAEC. And yet there's a guy in Europe. Why? Do you know what poverty has done to me? I passed a place recently, and I was telling someone that this place we drove past. I want someone to type that money is good. See, we fool ourselves, especially, if you're actually, religious people. I don't like money. My focus is on God. It's a lie. Stop it. Just stop it. In fact, part of our worship to God is sincerity. That you can say, God, me, I like money. Oh. And let him just work on if he's now turning towards greed, let him work on your heart. Don't pretend. So we drove past the place, and I told the man, I said, this place that we drove past now, there was a day I hawked in this place. I think it was Walnut Hausa, and someone scammed me there. Right? And I told him, I said, this particular spot, I stood there and I was crying. And guess what? It was as if, some things will happen. You are like, if I don't make it in this life, call me bastard. That day was one of those days for me. As I was about to pack my wares, what I was hawking and continue, I don't know the name of the car, but one Jeep, like we call it, one Jeep just passed by and splashed water on me. That day, I said, I swear, I go make am. It was a something in me. And guess what? That day, that was maybe like 5 years before the time I fell victim of 5 years, what am I saying? Maybe like 8 years or something before I fell victim of the Ponzi. But guess what? That experience was the reason I fell victim of Ponzi 8 years after. Because when I saw the opportunity, I'm like, if I put this money and make this money now, I will just take the capital and do another business and I'll make the money again. I'll do another business and make the money again. So we cannot communicate to society that values people based on how much money is in their pocket and yet expect them not to fall victim of these things. And yet expect them. We see quotes now. Now you are starting to make money. We see the quote you put under your caption. And I'm talking to those of us that started to, now you are touching more, you're like, what's it called? Money good, or if you know get, now you sabi. We now, so what are you telling us? And I'm not trying to be judge how you spend your money or what you do with your money. No. But I'm saying that if you advocate that people should find any ways to make money, you cannot also demonize them. In fact, let me put it like this. People lose money in Ponzi. Have you also lost money in business? So what's the difference? We are all just trying to make money. But the difference is that if it's into my business, right, I was not trying to gamble. I was not trying to, just do something to get money. It was something reasonable. It was something reasonable. So when it comes to, falling victim of this, putting money in this, putting money in that, I want us to be honest with ourselves, because it's only in honesty that we can actually get the lesson out of it. If you're not honest with ourselves, we won't get anywhere. That sometimes Ponzi is good. Now you know better. Now you know what not to put money to. Now you know how not to put money to. Now you know the red flags to look out for. Now, another thing we must understand is that there's something called herding bias. Herding. Herd, like head of cattle or head of sheep. If you're in Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. Especially you're living in Abuja, you're driving, you see those head of your fellow citizens, but they walk on 4 legs. I'm talking about the cows, right? They are crossing the streets and things like that. So they move in herds. Sometimes people did not even want to do these things, but my classmate did it. He cashed out $100. My sister did it. She cashed out $50. My boyfriend did it. He just withdrew $500. If I do it too, don't let it be that Yoruba will say, meaning I'm living with the tree that bears the fruit, yet I'm starving of the fruit. So sometimes it's this herding bias. And it doesn't have to be in Ponzi alone. It can be in anything. People are buying shares, let me buy. People are buying land, let me buy. People are doing, have you seen people that when you start a business, because of the way they think you are doing well, they also start the business also? It's herding bias. They just want to jump on anything that looks like someone is doing and is doing well at it. They just want to jump on it. So don't underrate Eddie bias, and don't say it cannot be me. Don't say it can't affect me. How many of you are doing what you are doing now because someone else is doing it? If I was telling someone recently that if you are into anything and you feel like everybody is doing it, it's because you are an active player there. Let me ask you a question. If you are a fashion designer, somehow you feel like everybody is selling clothes or doing fashion designing. But how many people do you know that are into the oil and gas business? But do you know that people in the oil and gas business also feel like everybody is doing oil and gas business? It's because you are playing there. So there's this heading bias to just want to feel among. Right? And then secondly is the emotional bias. See, don't underrate it. Don't think I'm in control of my emotion. Research have shown that you are not. Data have shown that you are not. Statistics have shown that you are not. When you're honest with yourself to this point, you'll be able to actually now put certain things in place not to fall victim. I think we are lagging online. Right? You'll be able to now make decisions that would make you not fall victim of it. Right? Now, one thing I want us to look out for as we are that was introduction. We are getting into the real thing now. One thing I want us to look into, particularly when it comes to this thing. You know, the subtitle says how to stay focused in a noisy market. The market is noisy. And don't think it's only noisy in Ponzi. I want to say something, and this is it. The fact that you do something, and I think this Ponzi should open it up for us, that the fact that you make money in it does not mean the investment was a smart one. So what makes a smart investment is not that you made money. And this is something I've always been saying, that ROI is not the only determinant of a good investment. That I put 100 naira and make 1,000 naira is not the only criteria. What if you finance the kidnapping business? What if you finance the purchase of arms for armed robbers? What's the difference between that and Ponzi? So the fact that you made money and made profits, some people make money from MMM, some people made money from CBEX. So is that a determinant that this is a good investment? What I'm trying to say is that they define success as opportunity meeting preparation. The question is, what opportunity are you preparing for? It is not every opportunity that is yours. There should be an opportunity you are preparing for. That when you see it, you know this one is what I have been preparing for. And one of the ways that you'll be able to do this thing is to settle within yourselves that not every opportunity is mine. It is okay to miss out. See, one of the things that will make you a very good investor is that fear of missing out FOMO has nothing on you. This thing is making money. I do not doubt it. But this is not what I have predetermined to invest in. When you live your life like that, nothing. Even when you lose money, you won't blame nada. You will take responsibility because it was what you prepared for that you invested in. It just did not go well. We go again. When you have this mindset that I only take advantage of the opportunities that I have been preparing for, that I have been looking out for only. I asked the question recently. I said that we all saw the news. We all saw the news when this guy, what's his name? Otodola's younger brother sold the shares of Geregu for over 4 billion naira. The question is, how many of us saw the news when he bought it? How many of us knew when he bought it? So the real deals, the real investment offers are not you don't stumble on them. They are not, now what I'm saying now is not absolute. Right? It's not absolute. It's not absolute means that are there times that that they actually bring opportunities to you? Of course, yes. They can bring opportunity to you. But guess what? You have predetermined checklists for every deal they bring to you that if it does not align if it does not align with this checklist I have, regardless of how much they are making there, I don't want. I don't want. See, all this thing I'm saying, there are theoretical terms I could have said, that could have used, but I want to keep it simple for you. You know, risk this, and this, but let's just keep it simple. Let's keep it simple. We're live on Instagram, right? Let's just keep it what? Simple. Let's just keep it simple. Redefine what is an opportunity to you. For example, I learned that one of the things that this CBEX thing, one of the things they said they are doing is that they are doing crypto trading. Now, before you put your money into it, how many crypto professionals, verified crypto professionals, came out to validate it? Or it was one Ahmed that both of you are broke together, that you are both looking for ends meet, that told you, he's crypto guys, or he's making money, that you believed. You know, it's funny when people come to me to want to invest, and then they said, I want to talk to my mom. And I asked them, is your mom a real estate investor? They said no. It's just like you go to the hospital, and then doctor say you have headache. You're like, let me confirm from my dad. And your dad is not a doctor. And I get it. There's also a lot of one-on-one in the market. You know, and see, when I say some things, people think I'm trying to, you know, maybe glorify myself above every other person. That's not true. The truth is that there are just certain things. And that's why when I say it, I also put myself involved. It is only in some part of the world, right? It's only in some part of the world that you can wake up in the morning, right, and decide that today I resume my duty as a realtor. It's only in some part of the world. It's only some part of the world that you can just wake up one day and just say that, today I'm resuming. I'm now a realtor. In structured environments, that's not possible. In structured environment, that's not possible. That's not done. Especially now that, you know, in this part of the world, we don't even call it just realtors. We take it a step further. We call ourselves wealth advisors. You know, I see a lot of investment strategists. And don't get me wrong, me too, I've been there. I've called myself that. So don't think I'm trying to separate myself. Now, that now puts a responsibility on you as the investor to know that there's now more due diligence to be done. Let me give you an analysis. All right, let's do a quick analysis so that we can fully understand what I've been trying to communicate. And this is the analysis. On every deal, there's the buy side, there's the sell side. And I'm going to keep it very simple. I wish I can. Don't worry. Subsequently, we'll advance so that I can play some videos for you guys to see. So those that were with me in the office, you know, last month, was early this month where we did the masterclass, right? They would relate better to what I'm going to say. On every investment deal, on every deal, there's the buy side, there's the sell side. You that are trying to invest, you are on the buy side. You don't listen to those on the sell side. They are after your money. Me, Adesina, inclusive. This is the reason why, if you check the communication we put in now recently, it is partnership. We are all putting money together into that thing. It's a partnership. We are all building our project together. And that's why as we make money, we all make money on it together. You know why? The sell side are brokers. On everything you make, they have stake in it. Why do you think that the investment advisors of top guys, of rich guys, they are not working with companies, they are working with them? I'll give you an analysis. There's a movie, you can go and verify what I want to say now. There's a movie, the title is Wall Street, not Wolf of the Wall Street. Wall Street. There's a guy there, he's a stockbroker. right? The guy is a stockbroker. Then he has a client he's been trying to close. This client, they call them whales. You know why they call them whales? They deal with big figures. They want to invest, they invest like $10 million and the likes. So he has been trying to close this guy. He called the guy 58 days in a row. Every morning, 10 a.m. Hello, this and this and this and this, I have this offer for you. Call the guy 58 days in a row, trying to close this guy. Finally, it was the guy's birthday. He did his research. He realized that this guy loves Cuban cigars. He loves Cuban cigars. So he bought Cuban cigars and then took it to the man's office. Still, he was still not going to see the man. Like, the secretary would not allow him to see the man. So he begged the secretary, and then she went to meet the man, and I think this thing is lagging. So he went, finally the secretary agreed, and then he was able to see the man, and the man said, wow, in the dictionary, I think your name should be replaced with the definition of, I think, consistency or diligence or something like that. So that means the man liked him. So he said, all right, what do you have for me? Then he stood up. He did like this. I have this deal for you. Is this, is that. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. The man said, relax. That is dog shit. DOGSHIT. Dog shit. Now tell me, someone has been trying to make a sale for 58 days. Do you think the person have actually not done his due diligence to actually find the best deals in the market to give to the guy? Do you think he will be calling for 58 days with a deal in his hand that was not sure for him? Pay attention to what I'm trying to say. He's been trying to call this guy for 58 days. Calling every day, bought Cuban cigars, invested, and he knew the kind of person he was going to meet. Do you think that he didn't actually look for the best deal in the market based on his own understanding? Are you getting what I'm trying to say? That the best deals from the perspective of the person on the sell side can still be dog shit on the perspective of the person on the buy side. Because the lens at which this person is still looking at it is still 80% I want to make commission. It's not 100% I want to make you money. It's not 100% I want to make you money. And guess what? When the guy told him that he's dog shit, there's nothing, he's not going to pay, he's not doing anything, he now said, tell me something I do not know. Why do you think presidents have SAs, special advisors? Why do you think these rich guys, they have, advisors around them? Because already, and why do you think it's not just the average Joe? Sometimes when you see their lawyers, they are crazy guys. I think, what's it called? Go and watch the documentary of Donald Trump. There was a lawyer I was trying to get. The guy looks like Pablo Escobar. He's a lawyer, but they said he can get anything in the city. The guy looks like a thug, but he's a lawyer. Why do you think rich guys, they have like 10 lawyers on their payroll? Because already they are smart. They themselves, they are smart. So that means that if you will be on my team, there must be something you are telling me that my smartness cannot bring out for me alone. So he said, tell me something I do not know. Then as the guy was looking around, he saw something about an airline. And then he said, okay, I have an information about this airline. What he later told the guy was something that has not been in the market. It was a deal that he only heard because his father works with the airline. Legally, that might not be right. I think they call it insider trading or something like that. There might be other technicalities, but that's not what we're here. So that means he was able to give the guy something that the man could not have known. This is now where the lesson is. After he made the man that amount of money when the man bought the deal, guess what he did? He employed him. He did not leave him in the market, brought him inside. What does that tell you? Now, your focus is 100% how I make money. Because it's now from making me money that I pay you your own money. What does that mean? He brought the guy from the sell side to the buy side. Nobody on the sell side is primarily after your interest, regardless of the title. Regardless of the title. See, I'm trying to say that as an investor, when you understand that the performance of your investment is 100% your responsibility and no salesperson is actually looking out for you, additional inclusive, you know that you also cannot invest lazily. You know, there's this concept of passive income that they've sold to you, that they've sold to us, that you have money, Abi. I'll just be telling you what to put money to. Don't worry, don't stress yourself. Don't stress yourself. I'll just put it here, put it here. One day, just wake up. There's no passive income without active structures. You should note that. And you build your own active structures for your passive income. You should note it, write it, type it out. There is no passive income without an active structure. This is even what I recommend. You see, you will continue to fall victim of a lot of nonsense if you yourself don't have any knowledge to build anything meaningful. I used to say that the people who own the most valuable properties anywhere in the world are either real estate professionals or top professionals of other field, either entrepreneurs or top executives. You know why? Because they actually have something real giving them money. It is you with 100k salary that's also wanting to buy property at a premature stage that will be buying all the that. I don't know what they can encourage you. Just buy one plot of the bush. The people that have the money, who have built something meaningful, that they now have the capital, they know that when they are buying the bush, they buy in hectares. They buy 100 acres, 50 acres, and things like that. And when they want to buy in a project, they buy in a viable project. This man was saying, what's his name? Dele Momodu. He was saying in an interview that if only you know, what is it called, the land that Adenuga has in Ikoyi, Kiniko. Go and check the average size of that land. They are not one plot. And most times, they were the one you saw that looks small. On Takuben, they've sold out of it to remain. You cannot do this thing lazy. You just want to. We just want to. Now you are now complaining of you falling victim. Oh, it's for why she fall? Why for she get a victim? It's not possible. It's not possible. This and I was saying, you know, they were asking me a question. Some what's it called? In a conference in Abuja recently, that how do I recommend people invest or something? And I said, when you focus on actually building something, either you grow through the ladder to become a top executive in an organization that you've contributed directly to the growth of the organization, or you've actually built your own organization. The same secret, the same principle, the same value that you contributed to building those organizations, either as an employee, as a key employee, or as an entrepreneur, is the same thing you look out for in third-party venture you want to invest in. Nobody who is a top executive, you know, top player, real contributor to any organization would look at something like CBEX and say this is a meaningful thing to put money into. Except, that would be controversial, except you mago your way through the ladder. Except you mago your way through the ladder. Except you mago your way through the ladder. There's a principle and value and virtue that you've built, that you now have as your own determinant, that when they tell you what's the secret to what you built, you can list it out. Those same principles, those same secret of what you build is what you look out for also. And say, this one looks like. Then, why do you think when you watch all these Shark Tank and Dragons, then they ask them, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. How long have you been here? What have you done before this? They want to know. They want to know. And let me reiterate, any investment that is not rooted in a practical business venture is a gamble. And gambling, hope you know that gambling was designed for entertainment. Do we know? Oh, we don't know. Gambling was not designed to make you rich. It was actually entertainment. That is, your club is playing. My club is playing. And I said, my club will beat your club. Oh yeah, let's put money. The money I'm enjoying is not really my goal. What's my goal? To shame you. Actually, my goal is to make you feel pain. Meaning that the goal of the betting platform is to make you feel pain to show that I beat you. Don't you understand? Yet that's someone's strategy to making money. That's someone's strategy to making money. It's entertainment. It's to feel good.